Hello and welcome back to Let It Cook. Today we're making a French classic with a little twist, a duck spice confit. For this we need duck fat, duck legs, garlic, half an orange, thyme and salt, cardamom pods, anise, pepper, bay leaf, some ponzu, brown sugar and chili. What is a confit? A confit simply means cooked in its own fat or sometimes just cooked in fat. For example, you can also confit a salmon, but of course you wouldn't use salmon fat. That would be a bit silly. You can also confit in olive oil, for example. The advantage is that it's cooked slowly at a low temperature and is relatively long-lasting afterwards. So a duck confit like that will easily keep in the fat in your fridge. For 2 weeks you can keep taking it out and make the leg really nice and crispy. Yeah, that's a great perk. You always have something in the fridge to crisp up in the oven for a nearly ready meal. Okay, how do we proceed? First, we'll crush the spices a bit with a mortar. I briefly roasted them beforehand. Since the oven was still hot, I quickly poured them onto a baking tray, just so they start to release their aroma. I'll add the bay leaf as well, and now we'll just crush it a little, not too finely. This isn't supposed to become a powder because I don't want the flavor to stay in there. I want to be able to remove the flavor again tomorrow. The duck legs should marinate nicely overnight, and then we'll have a bit of flavor in the legs from the fat. You can also do it raw if you want, but I would recommend marinating it a bit. Now we'll add a little thyme here. We'll add some flavor to the fat then. And add the spices. You can grate some organic orange peel. It pairs well with duck. Then I have some ponzu here. You can get that at a good Asian store. It's not really like soy sauce, it's something different, but you'll usually find it next to soy sauces. Go ahead and buy one. It's very dark and tastes delicious with great flavor. Then I add a bit of salt, some chili, a little bit of brown sugar, and now I'm going to chop up a clove of garlic. Actually, you don't have to chop it that finely. You can also just slice it. And the other 2 garlic cloves, I'll add them to the oil too so they flavor it. Cut them in half again, then into larger pieces. I want to remove them easily tomorrow. Then, so that the fat isn't immediately contaminated with the spices, and you can use it again, you know, so just cut them a bit coarser. Okay, that's enough. And now what you can also do, there's always a bone in here, yeah, to make the whole thing a bit finer. You can take this bone out before eating. Yes, for that you just put your finger into this bone here and run your finger underneath the bone. Yes, then you separate it like this, and now you push the bone forward here and break it down once until it loosens like this, until it's out of the joint. And now you just scrape off a bit of the duck meat here with the knife. But you can really just leave it on the bone as well, right? Yeah, that's probably even a bit better for cooking. But I just wanted to show you once how it's done. Here you can see, here we have the bone, we cut through here and then around the other side. Yeah, and now just cut through here, then you'll have the bone out. This just doesn't have any issues anymore. What I still like to do is make a fresh cut up here. Yeah, sometimes it tastes a bit weird. And when they're done, we can fold them together a bit and then put them in our marinade. Then we give it a stir. I'm doing it for all of them now, so their cooking times match. Scrape it in here. Pass it. Scrape it out. Yes, that's not difficult. It's the same for every poultry, just like with chicken or duck. I also make sure to waste as little meat as possible. Cut again at the back. Let's finish the last 2 and then I'll see you in a moment. And now just knead the marinade nicely into the duck legs so that the spices get everywhere, okay? I deliberately didn't make such a liquid marinade. Yeah, because it's obviously better in the fat tomorrow if there's not a lot of water or moisture in it. I just want to add the flavor now. So, and now we press it together really nicely, yeah, so it can get everywhere. And now put some plastic wrap over it and put it in the fridge for 24 hours. All right, my dears. The duck legs are well marinated. Now I'm adding a bit of the duck fat into the roasting pan. It's best to use something that fits pretty well in terms of size. The larger the roasting pan and the fewer duck legs, the more fat you'll need. Of course, because ideally everything should be completely covered. Yes, and now take a paper towel and wipe a bit of the marinade off the legs. Why am I doing this? You could just leave it on. Yes, but then all the fat would be ruined, of course, otherwise you could still eat some of it. Yeah, that's a great bread spread, just a bit. At least the hard things like bay leaves and peppercorns and stuff like that. Yeah, and now we put this in here, making sure to spread it out as evenly as possible. By the way, I've preheated the oven to 100 degrees Celsius. It's set to convection now. If you're using top and bottom heat, I think you need to set it a bit higher so it stays around 100 degrees. Yeah. And now we place it in there tightly, nice and snug. A great thing about this dish is you can easily make more, even 10 or 15 at once. It's also great for restaurants since you already have a dish prepared. Yeah, when the customer comes and orders a duck confit, you just take it out of the fat, grill it nicely in the oven, and then it's done. So, take a look. This is just perfect. This container I have fits like a glove. My roasting pan was too big. I tested it and realized I'd have needed 6 legs, not 4. Now I cover everything with the rest of the oil. And now we press it in so that nothing sticks out on top. Yes, that's very important. Everything is now under water, so to speak, or rather under oil, because the yarn would be relatively long now, and it would naturally dry out if it wasn't in the oil. And now I just slide it as it is into the tube at 100 degrees. That can take 2.5 to 3.5 hours, depending on how fast it heats up. You need to check on it occasionally. Just poke it with a fork and pull the fork out. If it comes out really smoothly, then it's soft and it's done. And then you can put it in the fridge and let it cool down. Yeah, but I'll show you again later when it's done. So my dears, now take a look here. Now the duck legs have been in the oven for about 3.5 hours at 100 degrees. The oil was hot, I have to say, but not too hot. It shouldn't go over 100 degrees, definitely not. You don't want to fry it in there. And you can see it should be easy to press in now. You'll feel it right away when it's done. Just a little bit here, let me show you. You'll notice when it's done, the meat comes off really easily here. Yeah, so it's almost falling off the bone. It's super tender, then it's done, and you can let it cool down. The fat will harden then, and I'll show you tomorrow how to make them crispy. For me, this is really the very best way to cook a duck leg. It gets really, really crunchy and really juicy in the middle. I'll show you tomorrow. So, it's the next day. The fat has cooled as shown here. You can now refrigerate it and it will last a long time. Yes, in France you can actually buy it like this in fat. There it's duck confit and they really like to eat it. So there it's just salted a bit beforehand. If you want to finish it now, just wipe off the excess fat. So these are the 4. At 220 degrees with plenty of top heat, they go into the oven now, and then I'll show you right away how crispy they are. All right, my dears. Then take a look here. See how they look really nice and golden yellow like this. The bell outside is ringing. Please be so kind and click the bell below, then you'll get a notification. When I upload a new video, of course leave a like, subscribe to the channel, Stig, and spread the word. We need more clicks, of course, as always. And now, even if it's absolute madness, now I'm going to try these clubs. I'll just put them over here for a moment. I briefly added some orange slices for a good photo and thumbnail. Now there's just one thing left, to try them. That's already a pretty awesome version of butcher's twine or twine in general. I guarantee it. More tender, no more duck leg. Try the recipe and enjoy. As I mentioned, once in oil, it can be refrigerated for 4-6 weeks. Nothing will happen at all. You'll always have a quick meal. Cook it, try it out, enjoy it. See you next week. Take care, bye. See you.